A days-long boil advisory in Galena impacts local businesses and how they operate. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
Plus, student musicians in Carthage take in band camp ahead of the school year, and the Boys and Girls Club in Fairland, Oklahoma celebrates a brand new home.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Galena, Kansas residents and businesses are left struggling to deal with a boil advisory that's been in effect now for days. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment has issued the advisory for Galena, citing the city's current inability to maintain acceptable chlorine levels. Officials say that puts the water system at risk for bacterial contamination. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with local business owners to learn how they're dealing with the situation.
It's definitely an inconvenience, but something that you have to do if you want to be able to open up and provide services for your customers.
A boil advisory in Galena is leaving local businesses scrambling to find ways to stay open. Sweet Creek Bakery and Diner didn't hear about the advisory until they were 10 minutes away from opening this past weekend.
So we had to backtrack. We had already prepared for the day and had tons of stuff set up and ready to go, and we had to throw out all the coffee, 4 gallons of tea, all of the food that we had prepped.
Myers says the diners had to find creative solutions to the boil advisory. She bought bottles of water and soda and gallons of tea to be able to serve customers, since they are unable to use their drink fountain. And the diner, which is known for its coffee, has had to bring in a small coffee pot to replace its coffee machine, taking 20 minutes to brew rather than its normal 3. She said the advisory has impacted her business financially.
We were down like 50% yesterday, and I haven't looked at the numbers yet today, but it's been really slow. We were obviously prepped and ready for a Saturday and weren't able to use any of that product, so that was a waste of product. And then having to go out and actually purchase all those bottles of water and all those products that we weren't included in our budget for this week.
I spoke with one resident who says they drank tap water for a full day of the advisory because they weren't aware it may not be safe. Both residents and local businesses say they wish the advisory had been communicated better.
I think in this day and age, that's kind of an important thing, is just finding ways to utilize the systems that are out there to get the word out, because it is important on something like that.
We did social media. I mean, I know that doesn't hit everybody. It hits a good chunk of people, but not everybody. So we immediately did social media, our city webpage. We have an email blast system that we use, and then we have a sign out front, which it does any types of updates and advertisements, and it was on out there.
Myers said she did not receive an email alert about the advisory until the Monday after it was announced. Mayor Grove says the reason it took longer was because the issue was noticed on a weekend when not all state agencies are operating. As a result, they had to wait for testing to come back. Reporting in Galena, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Mayor Grove says they're waiting for the results of one final sample. She hopes the Kansas Department of Health and Environment will be able to lift the advisory possibly sometime tomorrow. Experiencing a bit of a cool down, let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
Definitely was a cooler start to today, low of 61 degrees. I know when I walked outside this morning, it felt amazing. Nice crisp, cool air. It didn't get up high either, about 89, 90, 91 across the region. Some areas a little bit warmer and some even cooler than that. We have a northeasterly breeze, 5-10 miles per hour, not much going on there, but we do see another wind shift in the morning. Even cooler temperatures than what we're already seeing today, and those temperatures are going to drop from the mid 90s all the way down to the mid 80s, so nearly a 10-degree drop. Some areas even getting cooler than that. Plus, we're finally getting some rain chances. I know everyone's going to be excited about that, but I'll have more details in just a bit.
See you soon. A fire triggered an alarm in the evacuation of a Missouri Southern dormitory building this afternoon. Firefighters were called to the Quad E building and found smoke coming from a column attached to the structure. Missouri Southern tells us the contractor had cut into an electric line which sparked the fire inside that column. No one was hurt. MSSU says the incident will have no impact on students returning to campus in the coming days. The school year is just around the corner for Carthage High Schoolers, and the band students are already preparing. Band Camp, which runs through Friday, gets the student musicians ready for the upcoming school year by practicing fundamentals like marching and rehearsing music. Today they practiced marching without their instruments.
It's kind of you have to think ahead, like 6 to 10 steps. Like you have to think like, what am I gonna do next? How does it line up with the music? It's just it's kind of a process to where if you're not fully engaged with it, you're not gonna be in time with everyone else.
Now, in case you're wondering why so many students seem to be
check
on
your
an
position on your
electronic
app.
device,
Hang on, we're fixing,
well, the
apparently.
Carthage Marching Band uses an app to help the student musicians learn marching patterns.
Do the 8 again.
Boys and Girls Club cut the ribbon for their brand new location in Fairland, Oklahoma. They offer tutoring, after school care, and other activities for kids ages 6 through 18. This new location was created through a partnership between the club and the Cherokee Nation. The CEO looks forward to bringing their services like childcare to Fairland.
This is rural Oklahoma, and the need for after-school care and summer care is large because many parents are commuting to work into other towns, and so what do their kids do after school? And so we create Boys and Girls Clubs in rural communities in Oklahoma to ensure that kids have a safe place to go after school.
We're going to have more on the grand opening tonight on KOAM News at 10. The Little League team from Webb City takes one step closer to making some big dreams come true. John Dales has their story later in sports. But up first, a historic building in Fort Scott gets a welcome makeover. A couple from Texas is restoring a Fort Scott building that dates back to the 1800s. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more on what they plan to do with it once it's complete.
It had a fire which destroyed a lot of it, but not all of it, and then they had another one shortly after that, and it totally destroyed the whole inside of the building.
What is now just an empty shell of a building could soon turn into this.
We want to get along, and we want to give to this community, and basically that's kind of what we're doing.
Luana and Al Neese are taking advantage of what is known as the Schultz Payne building in Fort Scott and are hoping to give it new life.
I think this building would have been demoed because nobody would have tackled this. There's just no way you could have done it any much less than what we're doing it for.
At one point, the building was falling apart at the seams, but now the seams are shored up and the building is ready for its makeover.
Obviously, we couldn't save the other stuff, but we can save this. We can save the shell, and hopefully this building will stand for another 100, 200 years.
Despite complications that come with restoring such an old structure, the excitement is building not only within Al and Luana, but the surrounding community as well.
If this building could talk, I can't imagine what we would learn. Because you learn so much just by opening them up and looking.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
There is no official target date for when restoration will be complete. However, Luana says they hope to have that building restored by next spring. A little bit later, some precious little athletes go for the gold at the Freeman NICU Award in Joplin.
And we're finally getting some cooler weather through the weekend, plus some rain. We'll talk about it right after this. Well, it's Wednesday, started off pretty cool, and taking a look outside, it looks great this evening. Downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Mostly clear skies, a nice breeze, temperatures in the upper 80s. It's a really great looking evening, and that's going to continue through the weekend. I know everyone has had enough of all the hot weather and dry weather, not getting any rain, but luckily rain chances start off early tomorrow morning and continue Saturday through the rest of the week. So finally getting some rain and finally getting a little break from the warmer temperatures. So we got up to about 98 yesterday, and after that cold front came through, drop those overnight lows down to low 60s. We woke up this morning about 61 degrees and it was a very crisp morning. I'm glad I got to go on a walk in that weather compared to, the other day it was 80 something degrees by 8 a.m. Temperatures today also got up to about 89, 90, 91 across the area. We still had a little bit of a minor risk for heat, but it wasn't so bad. That continues tomorrow. Temperatures still kind of getting up to the upper 80s, low 90s. But like I said, we got another cold front moving in on Thursday, so it's going to drop that heat risk down to little to no risk in those northern counties where we're getting most of the rainfall on Thursday. And then on Saturday, cool temperatures across the region. We're seeing upper 70s, low 80s for our highs on Saturday. So it's going to be a great looking weekend, especially with all the rain that we're getting as well. Starting off Thursday morning, so we see temperatures in the low to mid 60s for overnight low tonight, getting up to about 5:30, 70 in Parsons, 71 in Yates Center. And then we have that easterly breeze. And you can see that boundary moving in near Wichita, Yates Center, and Kansas City, sparking up a few thunderstorms, but by the time it reaches our area, that threat's going to go down substantially. So we'll see maybe an isolated storm or two. You can see where there are a few patches of some heavier rainfall as it moves into the area near Yates Center and Parsons, but mostly just isolated and scattered showers across the rest of the region. As it moves across the border into southwest Missouri, Joplin, Webb City, Carthage, Carl Junction, Nevada, it's going to be pretty light rain, not a lot of accumulation. So most of the area that's getting the most amount of rain, far northwestern counties, Yates Center, Iola, Garnett, Fredonia, about 2/10 of an inch, 3/10 of an inch. The rest of us, a little drizzle, sprinkle in the morning time. Not going to be a lot of rainfall just yet. We have a couple more days until we see all of those scattered showers and heavier rain chances this weekend. So starting on Saturday, this is going to be coming in around 12:30, 1 p.m. Some scattered showers across the southern and western counties. And then on Sunday, rain across the whole day. I'm looking forward to that Sunday. Temperatures low 80s, 80 degrees on Saturday, 82 on Sunday, overnight lows in the low 60s. Monday, we do start to warm back up, 89 with scattered showers on Tuesday, 90 degrees. And then by Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have possibly a few thunderstorms, isolated and scattered, mostly not anything to be concerned about, but temperatures do go right back up to the upper 90s.
Several prospects for rain and highs only in the low 80s?
It's definitely a fluke for this time of year.
Yeah, sounds more like May than August. Thanks, Lindsay. Now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps, as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. It's the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Still ahead, Pitt State football hits the practice field for the first time this season. And Webb City Little League tries to punch its ticket to the regional championship. John Dale says those stories and more up next.
Pittsburgh State football begins defending its 2 consecutive MIAA titles this morning at Kearney Smith Stadium. The Gorillas hold their first practice of the fall season with a team full of new and familiar faces. The Tom Anthony era is officially underway as the Gorillas hold their first practice of the fall 2024 season. Pittsburgh State is picked to finish 3rd in the preseason MIAA media and coaches poll. Gorillas know the season opener is fast approaching, but feel good about the progress they made on day 1.
Day one's always the highest energy, so we just got to be able to keep that up as coaches, as leaders, as players. Overall, I thought the execution was okay. There was going to be some sloppy stuff on day 1. It's just the first time back out there operating as a full team, full unit in a few months. So overall, love the energy, love the enthusiasm, but obviously got to clean some stuff up.
Really just a lot of great leadership out there. You get a lot of young guys stepping up, into that leadership role. I think our old guys are doing a great job, setting the standard high, and just come out here ready to rock and roll.
Over at the Little League Baseball Midwest Region Tournament in Whitestown, Indiana, the Webb City All-Stars have won their first 2 games. Another 2 victories would give them a region championship and a berth in the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. A battle of two unbeaten teams in the Midwest region this morning. Webb City takes on Sioux Falls, South Dakota in the semifinals. Joel Beverlin gets the Missouri State champs on the board first with an RBI single in the bottom of the first inning. Later in the frame, this little ground ball towards third. Everybody's going to be safe. That's 2-0 Webb City. Still in the first, Drew Clore makes it 3-0 with an RBI ground out. Webb City off to the races. Bottom of the fourth, Sioux Falls tries to get on base with a bunt down the third baseline, but George Hines makes a great barehand play to get the out. South Dakota comes back to tie it, but in the fifth, Webb City adds one more on a bases-loaded walk before Max Woodmansey hits this one towards the gap between short and third, and everybody's going to be safe. Another run scores. Webb City takes a 6-3 lead into the final half inning, but Sioux Falls not going to go away without a fight. This RBI single down the line into right cuts the lead down to 2 runs. No sweat though, because a batter later, Woodmansey gets a ground out to second. That ends the game. Webb City improves to 3-0 in the region tournament and will play for a championship and a trip to Williamsport on Friday. Back here in the 4 states, Joplin Outlaws play their final home game of the season tonight. Joplin hosts the Fort Smith Marshals after beating them 4-1 last night. We'll have the highlights from the regular season finale at Joe Becker Stadium later tonight at 9 and 10. Those Webb City All-Stars, they are playing very well. They got a lot of fans back here in the 4 states excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, what an exciting time for them. Everything on the line.
Yeah.
This is like single elimination for now, I guess. Wow. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 tonight. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, Missouri, kicks off his re-election bid with an event in southwestern Missouri. Plus, we're going to hear more about the impact of a new Boys and Girls Club in Fairland, Oklahoma, and the unique way the Branson SWAT team is converting a former theater building into a new police department. Those stories, a lot more, it's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. While the world continues to compete for Olympic medals, these tiny athletes compete for cuteness. They're all winners in that regard. NICU babies at the Freeman Hospital in Joplin put on their best game faces while dressed as proper Olympian athletes. These athletes represented everything from wrestlers to swimmers to track stars and more.
Because his doctors are like saying how he's a fighter and how he's so strong, and I just view the Olympics as like people who are strong and fighters and just fight through anything and everything.
Every one of these NICU athletes, of course, worth their weight in gold. Cute kids, wish them all well and their families. The weather looking nice.
Yes, finally. I know everyone's tired of all the high temperatures, but we've got a cool down ahead and more rain chances. Looking forward to those 80-degree temperatures.
You bet. Final sports note.
It's been a good summer for the Joplin Outlaws as a member of their new league. Tonight, their last home game of the season. We'll have those highlights later tonight.
Looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.